Hello everyone, Conscientious Reefer here, and in today's video, I would like to talk to you guys about what fish I would choose for a nano reef tank and how I go about choosing those fish. So let's hop right into it. So first of all, how do I choose a fish? Like, how do I choose the appropriate fish for a nano tank? I like to go about it looking at different components like behavior, temperament, you know, hardiness, lifespan, temperature, and then the max size. The most important, I think, is the max size. How big does that fish get? That's important for looking at a fish for any system, but very important for nano tanks. I try to keep it 3 to 3.5 inches at the very max for the full grown size. You don't really want anything, you know, bigger than that. For especially in a nano tank. I mean, I like to classify a nano like under 25 gallons. That's a nano. Like, you start getting a little more, you're like, I don't know if that's a nano. I guess the word nano, there's a big definition, right? But just make sure you look at the max size and choose if it's an appropriate fish for you. You can go to Live Aquaria, and they're an excellent resource for checking how big a fish will get. It's the one I use all the time. Very, very helpful. And yeah, just that's kind of the one of the better resources that I use. Do your research, before. I mean, we've all impulse purchased before, I'm sure. I mean, I've done it. I purchased a pixie hawkfish, and I had a bunch of store credit. I'm like, oh, sweet, I can get this fish for free. And it was a little baby, and I didn't do my research. They get kind of big, and it just wouldn't be appropriate for the tank long term. And it was kind of a bully. Its temperament was a little bad, leading me on to my next topic, or next point, I should say. Temperament. You want a fish that's going to be peaceful and relaxed. Like, I just picked up a pajama cardinal fish for my reef, and perfect. Just mellow, chill, doesn't bother anyone, no one bothers him. Just the perfect nano fish that just stays out of the way and is just peaceful. You don't want aggression, especially in a small tank, because there's not much, if you got aggression in a big tank, like fish can go hide and stuff, but in a small tank, it's obviously a smaller tank, so you gotta, make sure they have places to hide, or just choose more mellow fish. You know, that's kind of the second most important thing, and then you got like other ones, like, oh, temperature. Most fish they're commonly kept will, like, accept the same, general temperature. Like 78 to like 80, 81, just in that range. But those are kind of some of the things I like to look at, just do your research. And so now, how do I go about picking a fish? Like, what fish do I recommend? I would recommend, either an Ocellaris or Percula clownfish as my number one pick. These guys, I've owned some. I have a pair of Perculas in my tank now, and they're fantastic. One thing though, clownfish temperament can be questionable. I've had some clownfish that are extremely peaceful, and I've had some that are aggressive to me. Like, when I stick my hand in there, they bite it. It's just a personality and behavioral thing. If you're a little worried about that, maybe shy away from the clowns, but usually, more often than not, they're peaceful. Get a pair. They're amazing. Great nano fish, because they don't really swim that much. They kind of do the swim up and down, up and down. In the wild, they have a little anemone, and they don't stray too far from it. So they really are one of the better nano fish. Obviously, some good options there are pajama and Bengai cardinals. They're not very active swimmers. They kind of just sit in one spot, and then they kind of move around the water column very slowly. So those two are great choices, cardinal fish. And another great choice is Royal Grama. Royal Gramas are usually very peaceful, beautiful fish, just absolutely great choice for a nano reef. And, here's kind of a broad category. Most types of gobies, obviously, like, with exceptions, like the big sand sifting gobies, you probably aren't ideal, but like, yellow watchman, Yasha goby, vampire goby, you know, there's just so many different species of little gobies, and they're all perfect for a nano tank. Those are an excellent option if you want to have a goby pistol shrimp pair. I personally kept one of those, and I found it to be fascinating and amazing. I absolutely loved keeping that symbiotic relationship in my tank. There's a bunch more, like I said, look on Live Aquaria for nano fish. They're really a great website. I personally don't order anything off there. I buy all my fish locally, but I've heard really good things about Live Aquaria, and it's a great resource to use to see the requirements and care of these fish. But I think that's it for today's video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps me out. Shows me that you guys like the content I'm producing. And yeah, till next time. Bye, guys.